Let's start with a big idea. What if your life wasn't just some random accident? Today, we're diving into a concept that completely reframes our whole understanding of struggle and purpose, an idea that suggests our time here is actually a deliberate, high-stakes assignment.
And it all kicks off with this one single question. For centuries, so many of us have thought of the light as some kind of destination, something you have to work towards to reach after all of this. But what if we've got it completely backward? What if the light isn't where we're going, but where we came from?
And that question leads us right to this core idea: life as a cosmic deployment. The whole theory is that you being here, on this often really difficult planet, isn't some cosmic mistake or a punishment. It's a mission you actually chose.
So what in the world is a cosmic deployment? Well, the most important thing to get is that it's not a fall from grace. This is a voluntary act. The idea is that your soul made a conscious decision to leave a state of total perfection to go on a mission in a really challenging reality, which is right here, right now, on Earth.
Okay, but hold on. If we volunteered for this, where did we come from? Well, this is where the source material introduces a place called the Plenum. So let's unpack that. What exactly is the Plenum?
The plenum is described as the state of just ultimate oneness and perfection. Just try to imagine a place where everything is known, everything is connected, everything is whole. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. In all of its perfection, it's completely static. Nothing new can ever be created there.
And this right here is the heart of the paradox. For the universe to learn anything, to grow, to create something it's never seen before, that perfect, static, all-knowing oneness had to break itself apart. It had to fragment into countless little individual pieces.
And wow, the contrast couldn't be more dramatic, right? We came from the infinite and deployed into the fragmented, from perfection into chaos, from a static state into a state of constant creation, from total oneness into separation. This is the environment for our mission. So what does that make you in this grand story? Well, according to this theory, you're what's called a cosmic probe. Think of yourself as a tiny, specialized piece of that original infinity. A little packet of light that basically raised its hand and said, yeah, I'll go. I'll volunteer to explore the density of what we call reality.
Okay, so you volunteered. Awesome. But how in the world did you get from that place of perfect oneness to here? The process is described as a very deliberate gearing up, kind of like preparing for a deep-sea dive.
You see, it wasn't some chaotic, random fall. It was like a structured protocol. First, you volunteered. Then, and get this, you actually helped choose the parameters of your mission, the challenges you were going to face. After that, you went through this massive data compression to squeeze your infinite self into a finite reality. And finally, you were deployed into your, let's call it an operational vehicle.
And what is that vehicle?
The source material calls it the diving suit.
Yep, your human body.
I know, it can feel heavy and restrictive, and it's definitely prone to pain. But in this view, it's a piece of highly specialized equipment, perfectly designed to help you navigate the immense pressures of this physical world.
Now this is a huge shift in perspective. It means the challenges you face, the hardships in your life, they weren't just random accidents. You didn't fall into them. You saw them before you came, and you chose them. You specialized in this specific set of challenges because you knew, on some level, you were strong enough to handle them.
So why on earth would anyone choose difficulty? Because that's where the good stuff is. That's where the most valuable information is found. Comfort doesn't really teach us anything new. But as the source says, it's those high-pressure situations, grief, struggle, the limitations of our bodies, that's what generates the most profound and unique insights for the entire universe to learn from.
So, we've got the who, you're a probe, and the how, the deployment. But now we really need to get to the why. What is the actual mission? And why is forgetting where we came from such a critical part of it?
This is the big question, isn't it? If we're on this important mission, why the amnesia? Why can't we just remember our cosmic origins and the grand plan we supposedly made? And the answer, according to this theory, is that the forgetting is totally intentional. It's a feature, not a bug. Just think about it for a second. If you remember that you're an infinite, eternal being who couldn't really be harmed, the stakes of this life would just evaporate. Love, loss, triumph, failure, none of it would feel real. The amnesia is what gives this whole experience its weight, its meaning. So with all that in mind, your objectives become pretty clear. You're here to run an experiment. Can that little spark of divine order inside you survive and even thrive in the middle of chaos? You're here to feel everything, deeply, authentically. Every single emotion, from the deepest tears to the highest triumph, is like a unique packet of data being sent back to the universal brain, helping the universe itself figure out what it is.
So, how does this all wrap up? Well, it all builds to this incredibly powerful revelation about who you truly are and what your purpose is right here, right now, in this moment.
And here's the bottom line. You are not trapped. You are not a prisoner, suffering in a fallen world. You are an elite operative, an investigator on a temporary, deep-cover assignment. This entire life you're living is the field mission.
And this gets to the absolute core of it all. It means you can forget everything you've ever been told about seeking enlightenment or searching for some light that's outside of yourself.
Because you are the light. You didn't come here to find it. You brought it with you, from the Plenum. It was your primary tool, your piece of experimental equipment to see what would happen when you placed it in the darkness and the density of this reality.
And this just defines your ultimate role perfectly. Every single joy you feel, every sorrow you endure, every texture you touch, you are the universe's sensory fingertips, reaching out into the unknown to feel, to learn, and to report back.
And when this temporary assignment is over, when the mission is complete, you'll return to that state of oneness. But you won't go back empty-handed, oh no. You will carry with you all the data, the feelings, the memories. A completely unique story that only your life could have ever written.
So we end right where we began, with a question for you. If any of this is true, if you really are a volunteer on a sacred mission to gather a one-of-a-kind story for the cosmos, then now that you remember this, what story will you choose to tell with the rest of your time here?